That's big red angry boy in a big green jungle, and of course, who else would he be facing off against but the Lizardmen? Let's get to the builds here. Land battle between Khorne and the Lizardmen. For the Scaly Boys, coming in here with a SLAAN of Light, 3 Temple Guards, including the Star Chamber Guardians. Very solid choice here. The magic damage is super important. The fact that the SLAAN also does magic damage, pretty nice. Rev Crystal for some additional healing. Geltbloom's Terror, the Regiment of Renown, Carnosaur, Cohort of Sotek up front, couple of Skink cohorts, and a couple of Croxigores as well. For my Khorne build, I've got SLAAN-BRAND, Bloodletters, and the Hellforge Host. Couple more Bloodletters on the flanks, couple Chaos Warriors of Khorne, some Warhounds, some Furies, 2 of each on each flank. I say flank, one of them actually Vanguard deployed in the back and is now trying to go for a full surround here. So yes, I didn't bring any halberds, and that may end up coming back to haunt me, given the construction of my opponent's build here. But, yeah, it is a situation. I will say I was a little bit worried about a lot of skinks, which is why I decided to bring the shields, although I also have the bloodletters, so they would have been very vulnerable to skink fire anyway. But SLAAN-BRAND just charging in, massacring some of the Cohort of Sotek right off the bat. Facing off against Geltbloom's Terror, just a big old twist attack. Ooh, that almost looked like a little matched animation there. Oh, what? Okay, that definitely wasn't a matched animation. Anyway, Shield of the Old Ones goes down. A big Barona's Time Warp from the Light SLAAN. That is going to be really strong with the Star Chamber Guardians, and Geltbloom's Terror now dishing out a lot of extra damage to SLAAN-BRAND. I need to try and disengage and re-engage here. Did a nice full surround charge, though, with the Furies and the Warhounds. Getting into combat with the Croxigores and the Temple Guards, supporting the Bloodletters just so that it's all a big, nasty Khorne blob. Not really a lot of strategy here, so we'll keep it nice and close. Banishment gets unleashed by the SLAAN, cutting through the Hellforge Host. Let's watch it wrap back around, perhaps. No, yes, no, maybe. But look at the damage the Hellforge Hosts are taking, not just from the Banishment. I mean, they primarily didn't take a lot of Banishment damage, but the Rev Crystal and the Barona's Time Warp on the Star Chamber Guardians, and they are cutting through what is definitely one of the best infantry, anti-infantry units in the game. That is very impressive, I have to say. At the same time, though, these other flanks, the Skinks and such, are being broken up pretty heavily. Croxigores getting isolated, and this is where I was wishing I had the halberds. If this Warriors with Shield was a halberd instead, probably would have taken down the Croxigores already, but that's okay. 3v1 single entity fight is also not necessarily what I want to take with SLAAN-BRAND, so I'm going to try and get him out of that combat there. See if I can reposition and re-engage. Bloodletter still trying to cut through. I've lost quite a few of them out at this point, but Hellforge Host still don't have their Hellblade. They're pretty close, right? 40 kills, yep, closing in on it right now, but it is tough to get through those elite Temple Guard models. SLAAN-BRAND comes over here, gets a terror out on these Temple Guard, trying to terror out these Croxigores as well. But they do not want to comply, which is fine, I guess. So I'm going to try and fight back against Geltbloom's Terror. My opponent here trying to pull away, turns his back, takes a couple of huge hits from SLAAN-BRAND. That's the thing. SLAAN-BRAND starting to charge up his blades here. He's now at 714 weapon strength. Here comes another big Barona's Time Warp, though, hitting these Croxigores. Hits the Geltbloom's Terror. Thankfully, I'm able to rout him. But still, got to be careful of that huge, huge area of effect. Barona's Time Warp. Got some Hounds come back from route. Need to get them in here and chase some of these routing units. Still got some Furies alive somehow, too. So we're going to get in there, try and support the Hellforge Host. They do have their Hellblade active, but they're still actively losing. Aura of Pretzels here. The, large SLAAN just throwing out delicious salty treats to increase the melee defense of the Star Chamber Guardians. And man, they're like formed up into a circle too, fully surrounded by Furies and the most elite of Bloodletters. Well, of Bloodletter units at least, not heroes. But anyway, managed to hold out. They beat back the Furies. The Hellforge Host is almost done as well. Khorne Warriors now rushing into combat. Things are looking very, very close indeed. SLAAN-BRAND was able to get a pretty decent engagement on Geltbloom's Terror and start to rout him off. Did come back from rout, so we're going to have to now come finish the job alongside those Khorne dogs. Warhounds doing their best. Bloodletters also doing their best, trying to finish things off. And another nice surround here those Star Chamber Guardians upgraded Faw's protection, overcast, and also because of the spell mastery, gives an additional benefit: 26 melee defense, 33 armor. They are just resolutely holding out against all odds. Starting to waver, though. We'll see. Perhaps they might give out their leadership. Warhounds finishing off some Temple Guards here along with the Warriors. Going to try and now move on to take out the Proxigors. Ooh, Gelbloom's hair just gets massacred by SLAAN-BRAND. Add another skull to the pile, up to 730 weapon strength. Mobility of the Warhounds also going to try and be used to chase off as many routing units as I can at this point. But all while I'm doing that, the SLAAN, the Light SLAAN, and the Rev Crystal are just massacring my infantry. Do manage to finally finish off the Star Chamber Guardians as well, but the Rev Crystal, of course, if it has charges, can heal them back up and potentially get them back in the fight. A little bit of banishment going to go down here as well, finish off these Chaos Warriors, and just bail those Proxigors out. I had a charge order there before it had been cast, and I didn't get to cancel it in time, so the Furies kind of rush into that banishment too, which is definitely not the best. But here we go, one final Barona's Time Warp in a 2v1 single entity fight. I do have the Bloodletters involved, but look at this. The SLAAN, oh no, here we go. Now he's going to get the Barona's Time Warp. Aura of Pretzels helping the melee defense. Means 52 melee defense. The Rev Crystal manages to resist quite a few attacks from SLAAN-BRAND. And with Barona's Time Warp, 50 attack on the SLAAN. SLAAN-BRAND only has 50 melee defense. The SLAAN does have magic damage, so he can actually make contact with him. The Stylodon also looks like maybe some matched animations just repeatedly playing out as he like gouges SLAAN-BRAND's eye. It's actually hilarious if that's a real match combat animation, but you see the result is after getting his good eye stabbed several times, SLAAN-BRAND then is banished to the outer regions of the Chaos Realms. And there's army losses, so an impressive victory for the Lizardmen, I have to say. Light SLAAN being one of my favorites from Warhammer 2, kind of the synergy of that with various Lizardmen units who all had great weapon strength, but not that great a melee attack. Great spell usage there, and especially with those Star Chamber Guardians. 1365 on value, helping to take out the Hellforge host, who themselves got 1548, but still relatively limited. They're still pay for themselves, but anyway. Bloodletters also trade fairly cost-effectively, and it's not that the Shielded Warriors were bad. Again, if I had faced a more skink-centric composition, my thought was I had the mobility to chase them down, try and catch some of the missiles on the shields, but definitely just should have had the halberds. There's no question in my mind. Definitely probably would have won with them, but anyway, it's all good. Furies, some of them perform well, some of them do not. Same thing with the Hounds here. Low leadership makes it a little bit tricky. I thought they would do better in that full surround, I'm not going to lie. But I could easily just cut one of these guys, you know, upgrade these two to halberds, distribute the rest of the funds elsewhere, and maybe, you know, switch out one Fury for one Fleshhound or something. I don't know. Some various things you could do. But on the Lizardmen's side, Gelbloom's Terror doesn't pay for himself, kind of gets bullied by SLAAN-BRAND, but it's still nice to have that elite presence. Like I said, it's really all about the Temple Guard, and the Proxigors likewise also. I mean, halberds might have traded better. Well, unquestionable. They would have traded better than the Proxigors, but I mean, Proxigors would have beat him up too. Don't get me wrong, especially with that Barona's Time Warp. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this one. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Plenty more Immortal Empires content coming your way. But keep it right here for more. We'll see you next time.